Muzabibu, Chaiwenja, Tunyash. The music that got popular this year left many no choice. Then also in the other news, Mobende witch tree kills 5 pilgrims, and absentee doctors to refund 1.5 billion Ugandan shillings. Now also government now to feed school children. The Minister of Education and Sports has announced plans to begin feeding learners in all government schools, especially primary schools across the country. A decision marking a significant shift in the national education policy. In Kenya, the Daily Nation, Health Ministry and Council of Governors say tendering process was transparent. And of course, this is in regards to the SHA deals. Ruto fight back as queries mount. Then Plan B, state now seeks 500 billion Kenyan shillings diaspora bond to revamp Jomo Kenyatta International Airport after Adani exit. Then in matters politics, fresh trouble in ODM over pact with president. The divisions emerge over party support for Kenya Kwanza and Ruto's 2027 re-election bid. Now Christmas bounty for public varsity lectures and the workers, public varsity lecturers and the workers. Then lastly, from the Citizen in Tanzania, how Tanzania can have more local billionaires. That report is in today's Citizen. Then government out to ensure that research benefits the nation. Then in matters business recognition, CRDB Bank named best bank in Tanzania for 2024. Then VP, the Vice President Philip Mpango says, we are committed to boosting regional connectivity. Then worshipper lives with pastors. Worshipper lives with pastor's body for 2 months. That report is in the Citizen this very Friday. Now, of course, that said, please do note that the 16 days of activism that started on the 25th of November will be coming to an end on the 10th of December. And of course, these particular ones are also geared towards ending gender-based violence. And in the same regard, we're going to be looking at how the church and the family in that capacity can change society and put an end to gender-based violence in our neighborhoods, in the family, and also within the church members. But for now, as they say, plan for tomorrow, but do not leave. Do not forget to live today. Our song of the day, though, says, your tomorrow should be greater than today. David Ekene with it. Good morning.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
My tomorrow must be greater.
An official told the BBC they have dispatched a team to the remote area to collect samples for lab investigations. And with that, we come to the end of our international news. Now let's have a look at the press review.
Well, new developments coming in from the marriage bill has seen the clerics outraged because of the same issue. Now, church lists 6 clauses that offend Christian values that may not sit well with the church if this bill becomes law. Then the Toto Festival nearer to register children and issue birth certificates as Museveni launches industrial hub in Karamoja, pictorial of the president at the launch of the industrial hub. Then the defense minister speaks out on American spy plane. Mobende sacred tree kills fortune seekers. That report is in the New Vision. The victims had traveled from different parts of the country for an annual celebration, traditional Thanksgiving and worship, which was scheduled for today. Now, Semakade lines up 20 lawyers to battle private prosecution. There was a legal showdown at Buganda Road Chief Magistrate's Court yesterday after over 20 lawyers went to represent Uganda Law Society President Isaac Semakade. Now, the Daily Monitor. They wanted to kill me. This is my story. In a statement shared with the Daily Monitor by a legal firm on high instructions, Justice Esther Chisache, who fled the country recently, sheds light on the issues making her lose sleep, including threats to her life, delays in hearing 3 petitions she filed regarding, among others, formation of a tribunal to handle her case and government refusal to let her retire. Then a star is made. Aaron Kiza makes lemonade out of Kiza Besige lemons. That is in the Daily Monitor. Now, matters finance. Moneylenders and government lock horns over interest rate. The moneylenders across the country yesterday rejected the new monthly cap on interest rate. That report is in the Daily Monitor. Now, DM today, essential vehicle inspections for safe up-country travel. And in the other news, people with disabilities share their triumphs as Chambago University's 8 PhD graduates speak ahead of their graduation ceremony. Now, while teachers are retiring in droves, many schools countrywide are currently grappling with shortage of teachers as many quit the profession for greener pastures before clocking the mandatory age of 60. The Daily Nation in Kenya highlights members of parliament say scheme opaque and has all the hallmarks of Uhuru's regime's 663 billion Kenyan shillings MES scandal. Now, this is in regards to the SHA equipment plan cartel. According to the Daily Nation, they report that SHA equipment plan cartel-like is according to what the House team says. Now, shop till you drop. Bargains galore as 5-day Nation Shopping Festival starts. Read about that in the Daily Nation. Now, lawmakers want order on schools closure lifted. And then also tragedy, a varsity student death at hostel and forced suicide notes. More of that is in the Daily Nation. Now, in the world news, South Korea leader faces ouster after martial law debacle. And then in the reprieve, members of parliament plan to reverse regulations seeking to raise ID fees. And also SGR Junior linked to be a game changer. This is according to what the Citizen is reporting this Thursday in Tanzania. How repainting project is set to transform Zanzibar's stone town. That report is in the Citizen. Also in matters Africa relations, G20 braces for Trump's White House return. Then Tanzanian wins East African Innovation Award. Who is that Tanzanian? Find more details about her and her win. Then Warioba cautions ahead of 2025 general election. That report is in the Citizen. Now, matters regarding the SGR and the Julius Nyerere International Airport link to be a game changer. The government is planning to extend SGR services to Julius Nyerere International Airport in Dar es Salaam, with industry players saying the move will significantly improve passenger convenience. And that does it for our press review this Thursday.
Well, we will take a short break right about now, and when we come back, we'll be speaking matters 16 days of activism against gender-based violence. We'll take a closer look at alcohol, physical violence, among others. So stick around and we see how alcohol regulation could actually help us curb the danger that is gender-based violence.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
At this time, I would like to thank you personally for sharing your precious time with me. I hope I have brought some enjoyment.
And what's your view on this?
Good morning to you, and how are you doing?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm fine. I hope our viewers also doing fine. Thank you for waking up with us. Really appreciate that. Now, our constitution is very clear. There is freedom of worship in this country, and you can only take those people on crimes committed. But you find it hard to regulate the freedom of worship. Otherwise, you may have to also, you find that there are things you don't understand. Now, if you come for a religion, are you also going to focus on the people that are practicing witchcraft? Because there is a level you won't understand. That's why Father Rukodo, though he wasn't the first initiator of that bill, that was the Religious and Faith-Based Organizations Bill, didn't see the light of day. It was very, very hard.
In a nation hungry for truth, a world where every story matters, there exists a beacon of trust and reliability. For decades, they've been our voice and our window to the world, holding the mirror of our history. With 4 TV stations and 11 radio channels spanning 27 languages, They stand as guardians of information, defenders of truth. With Maskari Heritage Advantage, they uphold every citizen's right to reliable and free information. Their archived stories shaped our past and illuminate our present. Yet now, as new challenges arise and the world evolves, their mission faces its greatest test yet. Be part of our journey and let's navigate the unknown, uncover the untold, and safeguard our future together. Tune into your public broadcaster, for it is the intersection of trust and truth. Because to UBC, your story, and every voice matters. UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Pick of the day on UBC.
One-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
A weekly face-to-face conversation focusing on accountability, inspiration, information, and sensitization of the public from the various sources, such as inspirational profiles.
Having disability is not inability.
Every Friday 9 p.m., it's one-on-one with Michael Jordan Lukomwa.
Don't you see anywhere that you would give a credit in the fight against COVID?
My role as the owner of the country is not to, be preoccupied by giving credit to my servant.
We have said that if we are to talk to General Museveni, there must be certain conditions in place.
Is it true that you paid 5 million shillings to MPs that voted for?
Was brought to you by.
I'll call you every day, yeah, yo, baby, don't know.
You can now get all the Chibuzi out with MTN voice bundles. Call all networks. Kubei Dondoro. Buy a 25-minute voice bundle for only 1,000, or buy any daily voice bundle of your choice. Dial *100*21# and select daily, or use the My MTN app. When we talk together, we are unstoppable.
Juko.
Yo.
Check the shopping, man. What's your secret?
Haven't you heard of the parish development model PDM?
Yes, I did, but I thought it was just a talk.
No, Sebatia. It is real. I and a few friends together formed a circle, accessed money from the PDM, invested in a portrait project, and now things are moving.
Juko. I thought I was one of your friends.
You are.
But you left me behind.
I didn't leave you in poverty. What you do, just visit your LC2 chairperson and your parish chief and start the process of economic transformation. Just like that. The parish development model is an initiative from the government of Uganda through the Ministry of Local Government designed to transform all lives of Ugandans for the better. PDM, my parish, my development, my life.
Live from UBC Studios in Kampala, this is Good Morning Uganda.
Good morning and thank you very much for joining us here on Good Morning Uganda Friday edition. Now, the 16 days of activism against gender-based violence is an international campaign that raises awareness and calls for action to end violence against women and girls. Now, 16 days of which started on the 25th and will be coming to the end will be coming at the end on the 10th of December. This very year. So it's an annual campaign that is commemorated annually. Now, in the same capacity, today's conversation is going to be rotating around the role of the church in fighting gender-based violence. You can be part of this conversation, by the way, by calling in on 0709 602 592 or WhatsApp us on the same number 0709 602 592. And if you do not have the WhatsApp, you can also send us your opinion and comment via text, and we shall definitely be getting into those comments as well. And the number will be on your screen soon, and you will definitely be part of this interaction. I have Olive Monica Najuma, who is joining me here to have this conversation and more, in seeing the role of the church in fighting or putting an end to gender-based violence. But of course, as we're getting into this conversation, the major point is what really leads to these increasing cases of gender-based violence. And that is where we want to start from, to see, before we even call in the action, or before we call for prevention, and before we even call for the end of gender-based violence, what is causing it to rise, especially in communities of the underprivileged, or what you could say, especially in upcountry communities. And also in the same regard, by the way, there are also those cases that are very much so common within the church itself. But here we are, we're looking at the role of the church in fighting against gender-based violence, and this is where we're starting from, the causes, and what are the main causes of these cases, not only, by the way, in the underprivileged areas, but also in urban centers. Olive, good morning.
Good morning, Jerome. And actually, I like that you did clarify that GBV doesn't happen only in underprivileged areas, but also among people where you'd think they are cultured, they are well educated, they are exposed, well traveled. It is happening, and I'll refer to a case that is still ongoing in court, the Katanga case, where the wife allegedly shot and killed the husband. Allegedly, because the case is still in court, and we don't know for sure if she did do it, but the allegations point to her. These are rich people. Yes. Amassed wealth, they have the right connections, they have the money, they have everything money can buy, and something like this happened. But I will also take you to another case that happened many years ago, I think around 2011, when General Kazini was murdered by his then girlfriend, somewhere I think in Namuongo. Same thing. These are still people you'd look at and be like, they have everything. So why are they? Because let's face it, killing your partner is gender-based violence. And I've mentioned two cases where the women were actually the abusers. But then we have many cases also where men are the primary abusers, and the women and children are the major victims. Looking at some of the causes, Jerome, you'd look, starting from the church. Personally, I think it is a misrepresentation of the gospel. The gospel, which shows that the woman is below the man, that the man has authority and power over the woman. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand that in a family, there is the head of the family who is supposed to be the man. But there is a way church purports it in a way that shows basically a woman is a man's property. Okay? And where even when there is a case of domestic violence and a woman goes to maybe her pastor, they will tell you what God has put together, no man should asunder. So because of this, you're going to find many people staying in abusive relationships, but because you can't leave because you were joined before God and man, so you cannot go. And sometimes we end up burying these people because the church refused to come in and help. And sometimes separation is not the worst, because actually even the Bible provides for it. If there has been, let's say, infidelity, it's okay to have a divorce, but that is the part the church does not want to talk about, because they go with what God has put together, no man shall asunder. We know the whole two become one, but if two have become one, then why is my hand slapping me? Why? Because when we become one, it means your arms, your hands are my hands, everything on you is mine, just like everything that is on me is yours. So if you're beating me, can you slap yourself, Joram?
No.
But
Under
then
no circumstances.
yes, but then looking at the other causes or triggers of gender-based violence, we'll look at alcohol consumption. You realize that in some places where there is a high number of cases of gender-based violence reported, there is they are in tandem with the rate of alcohol consumption by either. She could be actually assaulted, whether verbally. She could be actually assaulted, whether verbally, physically, and everything. So that is another trigger for gender-based violence. And then the other is poverty. We would like to sweep these issues under the carpet, look the other way, bury our heads in the sand. But the truth is, for as long as we are poor, for as long as many of our people remain poor, we are going to have issues of gender-based violence. I'll give you an example. There is a song